Lands and waters may you cross, see mountains white and blue, but on your road, let's not forget the love I have for you.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Shadow of Mordor video walkthrough. This is the mission The Dark Monument, and this is a 17-minute long video, so it tells you this one slightly longer than the average Shadow of Mordor mission, as I walk towards to see if I can get in there, and you can't, and you have to hit this with the bumper. Funny story too, my right bumper on my controller is dropping more inputs now than are registering. Makes it kind of awkward. So, when I was playing this game, I had to transition to using my new pad, because I just couldn't do it on the old one. The old one was almost unplayable. But because this is a large mission, and a lot of it is going to be walking around listening to Hergon talk, I'm going to talk about some other things until something catches my eye and I have to elucidate further and inform you of what's going on. I think this is meant to be a stealth mission, but for all the stealth missions I've played in games, it is really flexible, so there's no real fail states here, and of course that looks like a ghoul, which of course it is. So we're going to talk Smash 4, because it came out today, oh sorry, it comes out tomorrow technically in my country. Fuck you, universal releases that don't happen. And I got it today, and I've been playing it on the standard Wii controller with the fucking iPad in the middle of it. And I've been having a lot of fun.
When I'm through, no Uruks will draw.
I didn't at first, it must be said. So, I haven't played Smash since Melee. I hated Brawl. I thought Brawl was horrendous, and my first game on Smash 4, was kind of a Brawl experience. It was like, this is fucking slow. This doesn't feel right. What is happening? God, I really wanted to like this, and I don't. And then the next match felt a little better, and then the next match felt a little better, and then the next match felt fun, and then it felt really fun, and I'm at the point now where I'm really happy with it. Things to bear in mind: there's going to be a lot of Smash content coming to the channel. Some of it's going to be short, some of it's going to be long, it's going to be a plethora of everything. It's going to be a vast myriad of different parts of that game. Because it's on Wii U, there's not that many people that cover Wii U on YouTube when I search for them. So I want to at least put my time in. I've bought this console. I respect Nintendo on this new system. I didn't on the Wii. I thought they were aiming at housewives and illiterates, which they pretty much were. And now they've come back to the core, and they're making games again that I want to play. And don't get me wrong, Nintendo still made great games on the Wii. There was 10 housewife games for every actual game. But enough of that, it's too political for this moment, as I clear out these orcs. Smash 4. The game is slower, but it's faster than Brawl, and you do kind of get used to it, but the speed is intentional, and I notice it on things. I notice it on my ability to move, I notice it on my ability to cover distance, and I noticed it on my rolls. And the first thing I had to do was change the controls, because the standard control scheme, did not do anything for me. I was jumping all the time by accident. It was horrible. And I don't understand what they've done with the triggers either. Because if you played Smash Bros. Melee on the GameCube, which I hope you did, because it's the only place you can play it, unless there's some crazy emulator. On the GameCube controller, when you held the triggers, it put the shield up. You have to put your shield up to roll, which is a technique that I do quite a lot. Sometimes I do it a little bit too much. But anyhow, it's instant. As soon as you hold it, the shield comes up. The shield is super useful for a lot of situations. On the Wii U, it grabs. And at first I was like, what the fuck have they done? They've broken it. Because he does a grab, and then he does a shield. But you can't get the shield without the grab. And for that first match, when I was trying to roll, I was throwing these fucking grabs out and then putting my shield up. I was like, this is laggy and slow and horrible. This is not going to work. So I pressed R1. And that put my shield up instantly, so I immediately realised what they'd done. They'd swapped it around. So on the GameCube, you press Z to grab people, which is essentially right bumper, and the triggers did the roll and the shield. They've reversed that on Wii for some reason, and I don't know why. It doesn't seem to work at all. The analog stick does smash attacks like it did before, just like the C-stick, and the buttons I changed it to are essentially kind of action game buttons. I turned normal attack to what X should be but isn't on Wii U, so square. There you go. That solves it. I changed I changed normal attacks to square, and I changed smash attacks to triangle, and I made X and circle jump. So that way, I'm so used to pressing square for normal attacks on a lot of action games, and of course triangle for different variations, light and heavy. So it feels so much more natural to my brain. And as soon as I did that, it gelled a lot better and I had a lot more fun with it. And I proceeded then to play classic mode, which I kind of don't like. I preferred it when it was just a linear sequence of people and you didn't have to pick. I understand it gives you a little bit more options, but all I saw was group fights, and I kind of like one-on-one on Smash, especially in the campaign, because I thought that always made it fun. And there's a lot of ones which is like 8v8, like what the fuck? Which is essentially a free-for-all with 8 players, not actually 8v8. And just big group fights a lot of times, and it's really hard to see what's happening when you've not played those games for a while. So you're on a map you've never been on, it's confusing as fuck, it's all kicking off, and you can't even see where you are. Like, it was really weird. But what happens is you pick your difficulty, and if you lose, it lowers it automatically, and that is game-breaking for me right there. It's just dumb. Like, I picked the hardest difficulty for a reason. I want to play the hardest difficulty, and I don't want to be penalised when your perfect AI does bullshit juggles and dodges that are perfect. Or when I get to Master Hand, and Master Hand chains semi-unblockable moves and you just get unlucky, or if you have a character who's really bad at recovering from being knocked away, you can't get back on the stage. So I'm going to try and cover every single character through classic mode on 9.0 difficulty, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start on it, and if I lose, you're going to see, and it's just going to be, you know, covering the campaign, and hopefully I can get through a few without dying. But I'm under no illusion. Like, I really like Little Mac, but the dude can't jump for toffee, and I got knocked off on the Master Hand stage, and as soon as I got back on the stage, I did his aerial punch attack, and because it doesn't stop on the Master Hand, it attacked it, and it went through it, and I couldn't recover. I had no inputs until he lands, and of course the forward momentum took me off the platform, and I lost 2 lives in a second and had to continue. So there's going to be certain situations where, for my stupid mistakes, and sometimes just because the game's the way it is, that difficulty is going to be dropped. And if you're wondering why they've done it, it's they tie it to your rewards and the multiplier for the bonuses you get, and it makes sense. I'm not a big fan. And also, to even play at the hardest difficulty, you have to wager money that I don't have. So today, I'm playing a ton to get lots of money, so that when I do feel more comfortable with the controls and everything, I can then wager said money and do some recordings for YouTube, so that should be pretty fun. But tomorrow Aiden's coming and we're going to have a day of Smash, which is going to be really fun. And we're going to test out all the different modes and try the different characters. And I don't have 2 pads, which sucks dick, because I really wanted to get some old school one-on-ones in. Because Aiden was aside from me, was the best Smash Brothers player I knew. So when me and him fought, we always had really fun, close fights. And back then, you know, you didn't fight people online. You had your circle of friends, and if your circle of friends weren't very good at a game, you'd destroy them. So it was always nice to have somebody that could keep up, kind of thing. But I've done a bit of classic mode, as I mentioned. I've done the all-star mode, but I died, and apparently there's no continues, you just fail, so you have to do that. It's going to be pretty tough, but I'm looking forward to figuring it out. I haven't done any of the events, but I really look forward to them, because I did all of them on Melee, and I used to love them. So they have a lot to live up to. I haven't tried the stadium stuff, but I'm really looking forward to home run mode and stuff like that, because that's a really fun mode if you never played it. I've heard the break the targets has changed, which I'm really sad about, because as tricky as they were, I really liked doing them, and they would have made for some really good videos, because some of them were tricky as hell. But I've heard that's no longer in it. They've changed it into some kind of Angry Birds clone, which looks fucking horrendous, but I haven't tested it, I don't know. And what I'm currently doing is I'm taking all the characters into training mode. I'm checking out their normals, I'm checking out the jump height, their movement, the recovery, their specials, their finishing attacks, and just some combo potential with them. And I'm recording it, and I'm going to edit them together, and I'm going to release them as individual characters and get them all in a playlist. So if there are any character that you're looking forward to playing, you can look at some of his moves, look at his finisher, see some of the damage that they do when you hit the AI, and just see some little bits of information. And I'll probably make a single video with every character's finisher once I do it, but there's a lot of characters in the game, there's like 50, so it's going to take a while. And the videos are going to be about 5 minutes long each, and I think I'm going to put some commentary on them, because short videos are so easy to do and they do so well, but sometimes you can kind of feel like you're not giving people enough with them. And I don't want to feel like a channel that intentionally makes really short videos just to capitalise on views and money, which, don't get me wrong, that is a very successful strategy on YouTube, but since when have I ever done anything that's really successful, strategic on YouTube? It's kind of not what I do. As this Karagor fucks me up, but I managed to get him. Very dangerous enemy, those. They will kill you very quickly. And that's one of the things you don't realise when you're taking on a level 20 War Chief. Some of the War Chiefs, when they hit you, if they have any of those bonus damage perks, they will immediately put you to death state if you have base HP. So some of them hit really hard. You want to be very careful, but this mission is nothing special. It's just long because you're at the mercy of this guy's pathing, and he's a fucking idiot. And every so often they're giving you this little bit of exposition between the characters to flesh them out, which I do appreciate, but at the same time, sometimes I just like to do the mission and maybe have this somewhere else. That's one of the things I like about Dragon Age. They never restrict you when you're out doing stuff to narrative. When the people start talking, they continue to talk while you're fighting, and I think that's a really good way of delivering information. That game is so fucking good. It is so good. If you're wondering what I'm playing on it, I'm playing a rogue. I'm not specialising in archery, I'm specialising in dual blades at the moment. I'm tempted to put poison on my weapons just for a couple of passive extra damage, but I'm utilising the invisibility, I'm utilising the parry technique, which is kind of shit, but I like it, and I'm utilising the detonation combos. I have Stolas freezing things. Well, I should probably start from the beginning. I sneak up on things, I attack them from behind and knock them over. From there I do a move that triggers the detonation combo, and hopefully the rest of my team are fighting and gangbanging him. Stolas freezes him. I've got Varric, or whatever he's called, with his crossbow a little bit upgraded, doing some pretty sick damage at a distance. And then I have Iron Bull. I made a weapon for him the other day which has 195 base attack, which is pretty damn powerful for me at the moment. All the vendors are selling weapons that are like 120, so he's got a super powerful attack. It's two-handed, and I've put all of his skill points into two-handing to make him kind of my super powerful dude who fucks shit up. And I'm probably going to try and make him some better armor so he can be a little bit more of a tank. But one thing I've found on Nightmare, if anything is remotely higher level than you, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, they will shit on you in seconds. And the amount of times my entire team dies without me even realising what's happening, and I have to run away with my cloaking device, is kind of crazy. But it's a lot of fun, and the only times I don't like it is when I get one shot, and it happens a lot. Like, I went to a place in some marshes, and it was the first time I'd seen some undead monsters, and I was fighting this undead guy. I was parrying him, I was having a really good time, and then I went over to my entire team banging on one dude. The guy wasn't facing me, he did a swing, apparently it hit me, it didn't look like it did, and it one-shot 3 members of my team. And in the transition from me controlling my guy to the person who was alive, the undead attacked again and one-shot the other person. And when I looked at it, he had a red shield, which I think the loading screen says means it's going to be really tough. And we are level 6 and he was level 12. So he was twice the level of my team, and he just fucking ruined us. And it was funny because when it was one-on-one and I was parrying his attacks, he wasn't able to attack us, so I didn't realise just how damaging he was. And the second he got an attack off, I crumpled. I was like, whoa, has he stunned me? And of course, when I looked up, I was dead. Like, whoa. Crazy. But that game does a lot of really cool stuff, which I wasn't aware of. And I didn't realise you did all the war table interactions that you do, which I think is a really fun and interesting thing. And I've unlocked the ability to dodge and the ability to parry, so the combat feels like I'm doing something rather than the game doing itself. And I like that. I just think they could have given you that evade a little sooner, because the archers, when you first start that game, they can hit you perfectly almost every time at a distance, and about 4 archers attacks will kill you. It's really unfair, and you're jumping like a tit trying to put anything you can between their arrows and your body, and sometimes you just can't. So they're always hitting you. Same with those little green faggy spirit things that just fire that lock-on Dragon Ball Z punch thing. I don't know why I called them faggy. They have no sexual orientation and they don't look like cigarettes. It's just, they're really annoying and they can kill you by the time you've landed after a jump, if they want to. And Nightmare says, you know, absolutely sadomasochistic, why would anybody want this? But when you're fighting things that are your level and you've got your team doing what you want them to do, the combat is simple and fun. It's the moment you get something that's slightly different or slightly higher level when it becomes like, oh my fucking god, what is happening? So far I don't think Nightmare's too bad. I think it's pretty manageable for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. I expect it's going to get much worse because the boss fights seem like where all the difficulty's going to lie. Bosses are pretty tricky. But that game is a great example of when a game gives you a good reason to explore and a good reason to loot and look for secrets. Because you're always picking herbs up and the herbs do things, they're not just novelty to be sold. You're always finding weapons and schematics and minerals and components for crafting. It's a really fascinating game, and even when you get into an area where everything is a much higher level than you, I had my entire team dead but me, and I was using my invisibility to run past the enemies and just have a look what was in that place. And I would sit behind a rock, wait for my cloaked ability to come back, and I'd go back in it, and I would explore all these super dangerous places, picking up really good loot and awesome crafting components just by being a little ballsy. And all the time learning, you know, the limitations, because there are certain enemies that can sense you even when you're invisible. And it's a really good game. If anybody is a Dragon Age fan and you're on the bench, or on the fence I should say, I don't know why I said bench, what are you, Forrest Gump offering some old lady chocolates? But if you're on the fence over purchasing it, there is no trepidation to be had. It is probably one of the best games I've played all year, and I am nowhere near even familiar with the game, let alone that far into it. Like, it's fascinating and fun. But it loads like a motherfucker on last gen. The load times, oh, they're horrific. They are truly ungodly. But that is the end of the mission, folks. We've got a boss coming up next, a pretty interesting one, so I will see you there. Thank you very much for watching. You take care now.